So we're going to do parallel modes tonight, parallel modes of the major scale. I've run this series for months on our shorts, and it's probably been our most successful and popular series across all of the social media channels, including YouTube. But it's a really interesting subject, so it's something I'd like to go deeper on as well. So what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to, for those of you who sort of haven't seen one of those shorts before, I'm going to go back to the beginning, explain how they work, how the modes all fit together in this system. And then week by week, I'm going to try and do one every Thursday night. We'll build on this and work through the lessons that are already there. The tab is free on Patreon. Parallel modes. So obviously when we learn the modes, a mode occurs when we start, say, a scale, such as the major scale, from a note that is a note other than the root note. So if we had C major, we have notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All of those notes can be treated as a root note, but the only one that will produce the major scale is C. So you may have heard these notes before, these names before. If we have C major or the C Ionian mode, if we start that scale from D, we would then have D Dorian. Okay, which although it's the same note, because we're starting from that second note, we're creating a different set of intervals and therefore a different characteristic, a different personality. If we go from the third note, which is E, and play the same sequence of notes, we have E Phrygian, and again, now it's very different from our C major scale. The parallel modes work by playing all of those modes from the same root note. And I do these in E when I teach these because it enables me to play the open E string, okay, as like a drone, and then play all of the modes. So if I was to do the major scale, okay, you can hear that ringing out against the E. So I'm going to go through all of those modes tonight. There are 7. And we'll learn them in an order which enables you to just change one note each time. And this makes it far easier to memorize them all and understand how they work differently from each other. So I'm going to start with E major. Okay, this is obviously on the tab. I assume many of you will know the major scale or will have played it at some form, but I am going to quickly go over it anyway because it is our starting point. And I think if we don't lay that down, then everything that follows, you're on shaky ground. Okay, so let's start with the major scale. I'm going to start with my middle finger on E, which is our root note. Okay, fret 7 of the A string. I'm going to play E and F sharp, 7 and 9 on the A string. Move straight onto the D string and play 6, 7, 9. You'll notice my fingers aren't moving around and changing frets. Okay, I'm sticking to a 1 finger per fret rule. So 7, 9 on A, 6, 7, 9 on D, and then 6, 8, 9 on G. 6, 7, 9, 6, 7, 9, 6, 8, 9. Okay, now let's just play that through up and down. Ready? So I'm going to count this in at this sort of tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm just going to go up from root to octave. We go 3 and 4 and 7, 9, 6, 7, 9, 6, 8, 9. Let's come down as well. Okay, I'm going to start from 9 here. In reverse, that will be 9, 8, 6. Okay, onto the D string, 9, 7, 6. Let's do those one after the other. 9, 8, 6 on G, 9, 7, 6 on D, and then 9, 7 on the A, back to our root note. Okay, again, same tempo, so it'll be 3 and 4 and 9, 8, 6, 9, 7, 6, 9, 7. And then just to finish the major scale off, we're going to play that up and down, nice slow tempo. Don't worry if this feels easy. Okay, I'll count this in a second. It's better that it feels easy than it feels difficult. So here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 3 and 4 and 1 and and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's the major scale. In the modes, the modal name for that is the Ionian mode. Okay. Now, this is a great place to start because all of the notes are what we call natural. Okay, there are no weird intervals. They are literally the root, the second, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh octave. There's nothing difficult to remember there. Okay, let's play that through again. But now I'm going to say the interval names as well. Here we go: 3 and 4 and root and second and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh octave. Let's do that in reverse. 3, 4 and octave, seventh, sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, root. Obviously, this is not a technical workout, okay? What we're doing here is we're applying knowledge, we're gaining knowledge. So what I don't want to do is to be playing these things really fast, particularly for those of you who haven't come across this sort of terminology before. The important note for us to remember within the major scale is the fourth at this point. Okay, the fourth, if you go 4 notes up the scale, it's that note there. It's always at the same fret as the root note. And the reason for that is because when we make our first transition into a different mode, the note we're going to change is the fourth. Excuse me. So if the major scale is root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh octave, our first transition is going to be into the Lydian mode. Okay, I'm sure we've heard that before, or heard of that before. Steve Vai's made most of his career on the Lydian mode. He's really used it effectively. Joe Satriani uses it a lot. There's a lot of guitarists who've used the Lydian mode. We're going to change our fourth to a sharp fourth. Okay, so I'm now going to play my major scale again, but instead of playing that note fourth, I'm going to skip it and play the sharp four. Here we go: 3 and 4 and root, second, third, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7 octave. Do that again. 2, 3, 4 and root, second, third, sharp 4, fifth, sixth, seventh octave. We're now going to come down. Okay, hit our sharp 4 on the way down. You'll notice this is slightly easier to play on a technical level because you're playing the same fingering on both the G and the D strings. Here we go, together. 2, 3 and 4 and 9, 8, 6, 9, 8, 6, 9, 7. And then just for a time, we're just going to then play that up and down. Ready? 2, 3, 4 and root, second, third, sharp 4, fifth, sixth, seventh octave, straight back down, seventh, sixth, fifth, sharp 4, third, second, root. If you're finding that technically okay, let's just play that a fraction faster. So I'm now going to play 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, try that. Let the E ring out so that you can hear the important notes, okay? Particularly that sharp 4. It's a beautiful sound. But if you've played a lot of major scale and you've not played a lot of Lydian, that might feel a bit weird. Right. We're now going to move between the two modes. So I'm going to play up and down the major scale, up and down Lydian. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it just quickly and then we'll play it together. So I'm going to start by playing the major scale with the fourth in both directions. There it is. And then as I come back up, this is all highlighted on the tab, obviously. When I come back up the second time, my fourth will be replaced by the sharp 4 at fret 8. The rest of the scale is the same. We're just changing that one note, but it is significant. Right, so I'm going to go up and down the major scale, or the Ionian mode, and then up and down Lydian, okay? Without stopping. When I get to the bottom, I'll keep going. I'll come straight back up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Straight back up, and 1. This is now Lydian. 3, sharp 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down, 7th, 6th, 5th, sharp 4. Second root. Right. I'm going to do that one more time, a fraction faster. When I get to the bottom, I'm not going to pause. So if you imagine, I'm going to go up and straight back in to Lydian. So we're planning time. Okay, now the count for that might feel a bit weird because it's not going to be a 4/4/4. So it'll be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay. Here we go. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. This is major scale. Lydian, sharpen the 4th. Right, we've made that transition. Let's move on to the third mode, okay? Now it's the same principle. We're just going to change one note from our major scale. So we're going to go back to root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th octave, major scale. And this time we're going to drop our 7th down a semitone, okay? So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's that note there with the 3rd finger fret 8. Now we're going to drop that down to a flat 7. Now if you've got the tab in front of you, this is going to be Mixolydian. So this is the 3rd mode listed. And you'll see in the intervals that I've written underneath the tab, it has now got a flat 7, little B7. Okay. Let me just play the Mixolydian in context. Now you'll be able to hear the flat 7 now. So root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7, octave. It's a slightly bluesier sound than our major scale. Do that one more time. Root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7, octave. Right. Let's play that. Let's alternate between that and our major scale. Like we did between the major scale and Lydian, we're now going to do major scale up and down, Mixolydian up and down. And again, there'll be one note difference between the two. So, major scale with our perfect 4th and our major 7th. And then it will be straight back up. Mixolydian with the flat 7, okay? Here we go, in time. 1, nice and slowly at first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So up major scale. 2, 3, 4. Back down. And now straight into Mixolydian. 2, 3. Everything's the same until 6, flat 7. Hello. It's really watching yourself on screen. You're right. I'm gonna do that one more time, a fraction faster. Okay, so if this does feel slow, don't worry. Hopefully you're taking something in with the transition of the intervals between each scale. Here we go. So it's going to be more like 1 and 2 and 8th notes, 4 and 1 and 2 and this is major scale. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Straight into Mixolydian. 4, 1 and flat 7. Good. So we've done 3 modes. Okay, and we've pivoted from the major scale. We went from major scale to Lydian by sharpening the 4th, and then we went major scale to Mixolydian by flattening the 7th. What I want to do now, before we explore any more of those 7 modes, okay, we've already got 3 of those done. I want us to put them into a straight sequence of 3 modes. Now we do that by starting at Lydian. Okay, so what will happen is we're going to start with Lydian with the sharp 4. Beautiful, mysterious sound. Then we're going to flatten that fourth to play the major scale. So now we're going to have a perfect fourth. And then we're going to flatten the seventh and have Mixolydian. So it will literally be Lydian, Ionian, or major scale, Mixolydian. So these are now in the order that they're presented in the tab. If you just come in, the link to the tab is there in the chat. Okay, it's on Patreon, but it is free. So I'm now going to play these in the order that they're presented on that tab. So Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian. Here we go. One. I'm just going to pause at the end of each, okay, rather than go straight through. Here we go. 2, 3, and 4, and Lydian. 2, 3, sharp 4. Sharp 4 again. Let's go into major scale. 3 and 4, and root. We're now perfect fourth. And now into Mixolydian with the flat 7. 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, flat 7. Right, let's try that a fraction faster, okay? So I'm going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that sort of tempo. Again, starting Lydian, major scale, Mixolydian. I'll pause it briefly at the end of each. Here we go, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2. This is Lydian, sharp 4. Now our perfect fourth, 3 and 4, and perfect fourth, major 7th. And now into Mixolydian, flattened 7, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Good stuff. So all three of those scales have got a major third, root, second, third. Okay, we went through that note for all three of those. When we move into our fourth mode, we're going to lose that major third and we're going to enter our minor modes. There are 3 minor modes as well. Now, the first one, if you're looking at the tab, is Dorian. So again, we're going to change only one note, but we're now changing from Mixolydian directly. We're not going back to the major scale. We're starting with a Mixolydian. Okay, so root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Flat 7 is our key note. And from there, we're going to flatten the third. Right, and if you see from the tab, we no longer want that note. We're going to move our third onto the A string, which gives us root, second, flat third. So I'm now not playing the root note with my middle finger. I'm playing the root note with my index finger. Root, second, flat third. Fourth and fifth remain the same. So root, second, flat third, fourth and fifth. Run up and down that a couple of times. Then the note that makes Dorian interesting is the fact that it has a major sixth. Okay, so it's sort of less sad than most of our typical minor scales, natural minor, harmonic minor. It's got that major sixth, which gives it a nice bright characteristic as well. So I'm now going to go up, root, second, flat, third, fourth, fifth, and then stretch back to the sixth that we had in Mixolydian. And then the G string, I'm going to be playing 4, 5, 7. Okay, so 7, 9, 10 on the A string, 7 and 9 on the D string as before, stretch back, 6, 7, 9 on the G string. Let's come back down as well. So in reverse, you'll see that's 9, 7, 6 on the G. The little finger is going to play 9 on the D string. Bring the first finger back in to 7, okay? Excuse me. And then little finger to play 10, 9, 7. Those are the fret numbers as per the tab. And again, the interval that has changed for us is now the minor third. This is the note that makes our scale minor. Right, I'm now going to play, I'm not going to go back to the beginning to do Lydian and then major scale and then Mixolydian and then Dorian, because that's going to be a lot. So first of all, we're going to work just on the transition from Mixolydian to Dorian. Okay, just very quickly, and then we're going to do our three minor modes as a separate sequence. So here's Mixolydian. I've gone back to my index finger for the root note, so I'm there for my major third. Okay, and then switch to the index finger, so I've then got minor third. Everything else is the same. That's Dorian. So to summarize, when we've gone Lydian, sharp 4, we switch to a perfect fourth for the major scale, and then we switch from a seventh to a flat 7 for Mixolydian, and then we drop into a flat third for Dorian. So we're only changing one note each time with this system, and we're always going from the bottom E. Let's look at our three minor modes now. So we've moved into Dorian. Just tap that like that. The next mode in this system is Aeolian. Okay, so we're going to move through Dorian with its major sixth. To move to Aeolian, we need to drop that major sixth to a minor sixth. And that is found on the D string at fret 10. Okay, so I'm going to play 7, 9, 10 on the A, 7, 9, 10 on the D, and then 7 and 9 on the G string. Okay, this one has got a nice symmetry to it because the A string and the D string are the same. Okay, you can build up some nice sort of picking exercises with the metronome there. Now you may have played this before, especially if you've done grades and things like that in the past. The other name for the Aeolian mode is the natural minor scale. Okay, that appears in very early on in certain grades. So the transition from Dorian to Aeolian. Dorian has major sixth. Okay, let's go up and down. And Aeolian has the flat 6 there at 10. So let's go between the two. Okay, I'm going to go up and down Dorian. I'll flatten the 6th. I'll go up and down Aeolian. I'm going to do Dorian, come back down, and then up and down Aeolian with its flat 6. All of those intervals are marked on the tab. Here we go together. 2, 3, and 4, and Dorian. No, sorry. 3 and 4, and Dorian. And now Aeolian. 3 and 4, and flat 6. Okay. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions on that. Otherwise, I'm going to move straight on to the third minor mode, which is Phrygian. So the starting point for this will be Aeolian. Okay, so make sure you're familiar with that. The one note that changes when we move from Aeolian to Phrygian is the second. Okay, so Aeolian has root second or major second, third, etc. Phrygian has a flat second or a minor second, so we're going to play 7, 8. 7, 8, 10. So that's root, flat second, flat third. The rest of it stays the same. 4th, 5th, flat 6, flat 7, octave. Okay. Let's do that again together. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, and 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9. Straight back down. Phrygian is a beautiful scale, okay? Now, if you've not been exposed to it before, it can seem quite dark. Nearly all of the scales we learn in the early stages of guitar use a major second. Okay, every scale we've learned up to this point, Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian, Aeolian, they've all had that major second. Suddenly, that can seem very dark. But in actual fact, it can lead a really sort of nice Spanish. Some people think that is the true minor mode, okay? Right, let's move between Aeolian and Phrygian. The note we're going to change is the major second in Aeolian, and then the flat second in Phrygian. Right, here we go, from Phrygian. From Aeolian. We go 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now flatten the second into Phrygian, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flat second. And then with all of these modes, I advise you to play them a little bit, improvising with the open E ringing out, because that will really enable you to get into the mood of the mode. Even if you're just going up it, maybe double pick a few notes. Play in octaves. Let's summarize those three major modes. Okay, so we did Dorian, Aeolian, Phrygian, all from a root note of E. I'll play them one after the other. So Dorian is going to be with the major sixth there, okay, at fret 6. We're going to flatten our 6 into a flat 6, okay, to play Aeolian. Here we go, 2, 3, and 4, and so flat 6 gives us Aeolian. And then we're going to keep Aeolian but flatten the second to play Phrygian. Here we go, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Cool. I love the sound of that mode. Even if you're jamming over like a Dorian backing track or an Aeolian backing track, you can just move into Phrygian to sort of bring out some of the darkness of that flat 2. Right. Let's do all three of them, okay? One after the other. Use the tab if you need to, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to pause briefly at the end, count us straight back in. So it'll be Dorian, into Aeolian, into Phrygian. Here we go, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. So major 6th for Dorian. Straight into Aeolian with the flat 6, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And now flatten the second to go into Phrygian. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Good. Right, so up to this point, we had our 3 modes with a major third, Lydian. There's the major third there. Then we went into Ionian, which is the major scale, perfect 4th. And then the third mode with a major third was the Mixolydian, where we now have a flat 7. There's our flat 7. So those were our 3 modes with a major third, and we then switched into our 3 minor modes, which all contained a minor third. Dorian, Aeolian with a flat 6, and then Phrygian with a flat second. There is one final mode of the major scale, okay? It is neither major nor minor, it is diminished. And a diminished scale or diminished chord, a diminished mode has a flat third and a flat fifth, okay? Up to this point, all of our modes have contained a perfect fifth. We're now going to flatten that, okay? Also called a tritone. Great sound, okay? So there is our flattened fifth or our tritone. So I'm going to stay with Phrygian, root, flat second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat sixth, flat seven. But I'm now going to flatten the fifth, and this will give us a diminished mode, Locrian. You may have heard of that before, okay? Here we go with the E ringing out. Flat fifth. Do that again. Let's do the two so we can see the transition. I'm going to do Phrygian with a perfect fifth, and then I'm going to do Locrian with the diminished fifth there. Here we go together. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. This is Phrygian, perfect fifth. Now Locrian with the diminished fifth. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Diminished fifth. Right. That is all of them. I'm going to play them through as a sequence, one after the other. What I'm going to do is play them to a backing track so that you can hear them in context against each other. This is a backing track that I've recorded myself. This is Lydian. Ionian, major scale. Flatten the seventh, Mixolydian. Flatten the third, Dorian. Flatten the sixth, Aeolian. Flatten the second, Phrygian. And now flatten the fifth. Everything's been flattened. We're back to Lydian. That backing track was in 7/4. Okay, we'll be talking about that next week. That gives you a chance to hopefully get these 7 modes down so you can hear the difference between them.